the Edge podcast. And today we are talking about principle number 3 from how to win friends and influence people. I've been studying this book for many years, so I can understand humans, because that is the hardest part in business, is the people. I was having a discussion with a business owner this morning that the hardest part to do is to understand people. Now, in 2002, a strange looking computer was on the cover of Time. It was small, it was dome-like, it had a shiny chrome neck, a flat screen monitor, and you could push and pull things with just your finger. It was called the iMac. Apple Computer introduced it. People thought that Steve Jobs was absolutely insane with this computer, but he believed it was the future of the computing world. Apple had always had this kind of niche, but nothing quite as creative as this was. He said that PCs were going to be the digital hub, and that's where we would go for music, videos, cameras, that sort of thing. Everybody thought he was loco. He risked his company on a vision only he could see. And you know what? It worked out. iMac, iTunes, iPhoto, iMovie, iPod, iCloud, iPad, iWatch, iPhone, iMac. It's everywhere. And we all use it. I'm recording this on 3 different Apple devices. Critics mocked and made fun of Jobs. Some people who were huge fans of Apple since the very beginning called it clownish and silly and far too grand. Now, Apple laughed all the way to the bank. They were the first trillion with a T, $trillion company, because the public embraced what Jobs had put out. Its shares increased by 4,856%. And the competitors in the same space lost 14%. Why? Because Apple listened to its customers and gave them what they were looking for. They knew how to market this to the needs of the people they were selling to. Something that Steve Jobs recognized and Dale Carnegie recognized is to influence people to act, you must first connect with their core desire. In Think and Grow Rich, there was this story of Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he had this calf. He was outside, and him and his son were trying to get the calf to go into the barn. They pushed it, they pulled it, but that calf did not want to move at all. But the housemaid saw the predicament that they were in. Now, she didn't really have any college degree. She didn't have a bunch of writings under her belt, but she did know how to get things to do what she wanted. She walked out to that calf. She stuck its finger, or her finger, in its mouth, and it started sucking, and it followed her to the barn because it wanted food. That's what was important to it. You influence people by what they want and what they need. Now, my husband's a fisherman. He loves to go fishing. When he goes fishing, does he necessarily take potato chips to fish with? No. Because when you're fishing, you want to fish with whatever the fish wants. Worms, minnows, shrimp, shad, depending on what you're fishing for. You don't throw a Cheeto on the end of the fishing line and get a fish. Influence is more about intuition than intellect. That's why people went to Apple. They wanted to have their world in the palm of their hand. They wanted to be able to get videos and music and look at a watch and have a phone and a digital camera. We didn't even know back then that we wanted apps, right? That was crazy. Like, you have to influence people with what they want, not what you want. When you're talking to someone, you can't talk about everything that you want. You want to talk about what the person wants, not what you want. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot walks alone. This chapter in How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie teaches the psychology of men and women so that they can understand people. When we want a favor from people or a job from people, we have to convince them that they should help us. And we can't talk about what it's going to do for us. We have to talk about what it's doing for them. Two salespeople want to sell an insurance policy. And I've seen this all over at networking meetings. They'll say, buy this insurance policy from me because it'll help me reach a goal. Well, I'm not very motivated. But if somebody tries to sell me insurance and says how it's going to benefit me and convince me how it's going to be profitable for me, my family, my business partners, that's how you convince me. My spouse. People fail when they don't understand this piece. What's it going to do for me? It's the hearts of others that you have to win over, that you draw people closer to you. It gets them to focus. You got to focus more on what they want than what you want. Someone who takes a lot and gives nothing cannot sustain a relationship long. They'll lose in the end. So some lessons from How to Win Friends and Influence People, chapter 3 is givers truly never lack. You have to find a way to get into the hearts of others, the hearts of many. And it's wise to offer something before asking. My daughter called me today and she's having trouble with one of her bosses at work. And I said, tell me what she said. How'd you react? So tell me about her. What's she interested in? Well, she wants us to get here 10 minutes early, but she didn't tell us until today. Okay, so that's important to her. What else is important to her? Well, I've noticed she likes to get her hairs and her nails done. Talk to her about that. Like, be genuinely interested in a person. And whatever she says, she's your boss. Listen to her and try to accommodate her the best that you can. Find different ways that you can help your acquaintances, is what I said to my daughter. Help your boss is what I said to her. Acquaintances, she's 18. It would have really thrown her off. Number 2, offer more than she would hope that you would offer. give and give some more. Now, some issues that might arouse from this is in some cases, people do it insincerely. They don't really take the time to think through the strategy, how to best offer people to win them over. And you are in a relationship, no matter what it is. So do you plan to give for their sake, or do you plan to give for your sake? So some actions for you to take is to discover what people around you want to see and how you can offer something of value to them, something of use to them. It's the golden rule. Do unto others as they would do unto you. Oh, change that a little bit. Do more for others than they do unto you. The only way on earth to get influence with people is to talk about what they want and show them how to get it. Remember Ralph Waldo Emerson and that cat, that little calf, sticking the finger in the calf's mouth to get it to do what she wanted to do? So principle number 3 is to arouse in the other person an eager want. Now, in a nutshell, for section number 1, principle number 1 was don't criticize, complain, or condemn. Principle number 2 was give honest and sincere appreciation. And principle number 3 was arouse in another person an eager want. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It can change your life and change your business. So when thinking about your business, how can I add more value to my customers and clients and arouse in the other person an eager want? How can you do that? I'm Christy Ogle with the Edge Podcast. Thank you for listening.